I'll share things that I've learned over the course of time. So physically, what did you come up with? What are some ideas?
With getting all your gear and your equipment ready to go.
Okay. So gear and equipment.
Being punctual.
Being on time, punctual, so whatever it takes.
Eat well.
High
quality.
Stay hydrated.
Okay. They're there with water, a snack. What else?
Like they have make sure you wrap your joints if you've got something that needs to be stabilized.
Yep. Any special things, whether they have a trainer, but if they have things they need to do and handle on their own, they get that done before practice starts.
That's always talking about the 48-hour rule. If you're trying to slam a bunch of water the day of, or even the day before, it's probably way too late.
Yep.
And same for sleep. If you're trying to get, 8 hours of sleep the day or the day before, that's fine. But if you got 4 hours of sleep the night before that, then what's it doing you? So, talk about the 48-hour rule.
Yeah, and getting them, because a lot of them have that 48-hour rule for competition.
Right.
And then we try to extend that. Well, how about that 48-hour rule for practice? Yeah. What else physically?
I want them to know if they're hurt. If they've
You
got
want to
some-
know. Okay, so
I want them to be able to know that if they've got something that's hurt or broken or something.
sort of physical check-in.
Yeah, to recognize.
Yep.
Get rid of the girlfriends on game day.
Everything's practice. Yeah. Okay, a couple of things. So they're on time. We talked about that. Cell phone is handled, whatever that means for you and your team and your program. Some of them, maybe they do need a short nap, or even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that can be an energizer for them. And equipment, and what is that checklist of equipment? I mean, some sports, the list is longer, and so making sure they know down to the nitty-gritty.
Well, I was just going to say preparing the field, because in water polo we have to take the covers
Ah.
off, take the lane lines out, put them back in even after practice as well.
Yeah, I didn't have that good. If you coach, well, I guess it could be boys or girls these days, but jewelry, hair stuff, is it handled? Remind me outside, so sunglasses or hats or visors or whatever they're going to do like that. It's just, I mean, again, high school. college kids.
Minor boo-boos attended to, blisters
List-
covered.
Yeah, they're all done. They're taped. They've got it, or whatever they might need in their bag to handle those kind of things. Extra clothes. Coached in Berkeley, right? So by the end of the practice, the fog would come in, and it was cool. Oh, you're going to go to class, or you're going to ride home on your bike, and you're wet. Now, how smart is that? Like a change of clothes. A sweatshirt might be nice. Yes, I'm talking to 18 to 22-year-olds. Okay. Separate shoes. For us, it was court shoes versus they had their track shoes or whatever kind of training we were going to do later. I know that's under equipment. But all that stuff was handled. Okay. What'd you come up with mentally?
Knowing your assignments ahead of time, ahead of practice.
Okay.
Having a practice plan in your mind beyond what the coaches tell you. Do you have a clue what's going on?
Yeah. And bringing it back to their goal. They have a goal. Okay, how does today's practice tie into your goal?
Focus.
Whatever it is for them, but they're trying to achieve something. They need to have a sub-objective for today that's related to their goal. I had a lot of success with them writing it down. Having a 3x5 card, having a notebook, write it down. Get it clear about it. What else mentally?
Knowing their game schedule.
Okay, knowing their schedule. Yep.
Or your practice schedule.
Or the practice schedule.
Certain times to stretch, warm up, like that.
Yep.
Knowing your opponent.
Okay, knowing the opponent, knowing what's coming up, who are we playing this week, if it's practice.
Maybe when you're at practice, actually being there, not thinking about academics or girls or whatever they may be thinking about.
They've got that handled, whatever, their academic homework is done, it's handled, they maybe turn their phone off, X amount of time prior to practice, so they're not getting any of these texts, right before or during that can be upsetting. They're not checking Facebook, they're not there's sort of a buffer zone, so that the mind has time to engage. They're not doing that, right up until the moment we're gonna start practice. Building that in. Their homework's done, they've got rides handled, they're getting themselves in the right mindset, they've taken a few minutes to do that. Emotionally, did you come up with anything there?
For a lot of kids, it's being in the moment of practice because their mind is elsewhere and they should be concentrating on the moment.
Getting in the right emotional state?
So I think this is life, but I think this because kids are like this. Like some of our kids, like they think if they look good, they feel good, you know. So like on game day, they come out and like they don't tape themselves any other day, but they tape themselves on game day. So I was saying, well, why don't you tape yourself up for practice so you feel good for practice, so you could play your heart out during practice.
Or you notice the routines, the dressing routines, and the attention to detail they do on game day, but they look like slobs on practice. So again, getting them to get in the routines, because they're trying to trigger a particular emotional response. All that ties into it, so we want to get into that habit. Some of them might have had a hard day, so they want to make sure there's a little bit of social time to kind of debrief, blow off steam. For me, it was sometimes they needed to laugh. You're just so freaking upset and serious, you need to laugh. Find the funniest person on the team, spend a few minutes with them before practice and laugh. You're really upset, you need to scream. We had big track and stuff behind the courts. Go over there, nobody's there, scream your head off. Go over there in the tunnel, cry. I don't care what you need to do. Just do whatever you need to do to get out emotionally so that when you come here and cross the threshold, you're ready to rock and roll. So you've got this list. Ways that you can use it. Now if you take a look in the back of your book, here's how I would suggest using it. There's sort of a sample on A4, kind of looks like this. And they've changed it a little bit. I would actually, here's two ways I would do it. When I work with younger kids, like if you have kids, your kids ever gone on a camping trip or whatever, and what does the school send home? A checklist, right? Like, you gotta make sure you have a flashlight, you gotta have all these things. So with little kids, what I do is I make the list, a checklist, and tell them that this is what they need to do. It's great training when they're little. Now when they're older, what I would suggest you do is have them go through the exercise that we just did. And they delineate out their own list. They have created now their own checklist, of which you get a copy. So now you know what they think, what they have said they need to do on a regular basis to come to practice and have peak practice. The responsibility is on them. There may be a few things on there that you want to have happen as a coach, but allow them to customize it and personalize it for themselves. Okay? Now what I want you to do is look on the list that you just did, and I want you to circle everything on there that you need to do for yourself, coach, so that you arrive every day to have peak practice. If it's all of them, it's all of them. If there's more you need to add, what is your checklist?